Okay, today we are going to continue checking the modal verbs. In this session, we are going to see the use of have to and must. Have to and must express obligation, but they have a difference between what kind of obligation they are expressing. Have to expresses external obligation. For example, I have to read these reports. Must expresses internal or personal obligation. I must buy some eggs. Let's start with have to. Check some forms and structures for this verb. In present simple, we are going to express an obligation in the present. I have to work. You have to work. He has to work. She has to work. Remember that after have, we have another verb. Then we need to separate them using to. And for the third person in present, we change the verb have for has. If we use have to in past, it refers to a past obligation. I had to work last weekend. You had to work last weekend. Remember that the form for have in past is had, and we use had with any person. In the future, we use the auxiliary verb will, followed by have to. I will have to work, and we are expressing a future obligation. As the same as had, in future, we are going to use the auxiliary verb will with any subject. Remember that to form the negative in present, we need the auxiliary verb do in negative, contracted with the particle not, and we have don't or doesn't for the third person. For example, I don't have to work. He doesn't have to work, and it represents an upset of obligation. For the past simple, remember that we use the auxiliary verb did with the particle not, didn't, and the main verb is going to be in present or base form. I didn't have to work. You didn't have to work. He didn't have to work. As the same as in the affirmative, we use didn't for any subject. Remember too that won't is going to be the negative form for will. I won't have to work is an example of this future simple form. You won't have to work. If we want to use have to in interrogative, remember that we put the auxiliary verb at the beginning. That's why we have in present simple, do I have to work or does she have to work? In past, did I have to work? Did she have to work? And in future, will I have to work? Will she have to work? Have to. With have to, the obligation is external. Let's check these examples. Mark, let's go to the beach on Saturday. Yay. No, I have to work. In England, you have to drive on the left. Then we are going to check the use, the form, and the structure for must. I must study for my exam. Since must is a modal verb, remember that we're using with any subject. And after it, we have the base form of the main verb. I must study for my exam. You must study for my exam. He must study for my exam. We don't use must in the past because this is a modal verb and it is used in a specific situation. Another aspect that we need to take in count with must is that we couldn't use must in question. Instead, we use have to when asking for obligations. Must is not common use in question, but we can use it in future. What or how we are going to check that must is in future? Because of the time expression. If you check in this example, at the end of them we have tomorrow. Tomorrow is expression of time for the future. In that case, we have as example, I must wash the car tomorrow. You must wash the car tomorrow. He must wash the car tomorrow. And in this way, we show that the obligation is going to be in future. In must, the obligation is internal or personal. It is an obligation imposed by ourselves. It means by the speaker. Mark, let's go to the beach on Saturday. Jane, no, I must study. Clay, I have a sore throat. I must go to the drugstore. Mustn't, when is used in negative, expresses prohibition. It could be an external prohibition. Visitors must not park in the staff car park. It could be an internal or personal prohibition. I mustn't go to bed so late. Then with must not, we can express both, again, external or internal prohibitions. Let's check if we understand more or less the difference in use of have to and must. Choose the correct verb form to complete the sentences. Please, a volunteer for the first one.
Yesterday, I must finish my geography project.
Okay, Astrid, thank you so much. Let's check the answer. Had to, yesterday, had to. Remember that we cannot use must in past. Okay, thank you, Astrid. It's okay, thank you. Next. Another volunteer, please, for the second.
Yeah, teacher.
Yes, Montserrat, thank you.
She will have to make in light like everyone else.
Let's check the answer. Have to. Yes, because we have will. Will have to, okay, expressing a future obligation. Okay, thank you, Montserrat. Next. Another volunteer for next. A volunteer, please. A volunteer for number 3. Must be, mustn't, have to. Which of them complete?
¿Puedo?
Yes, please, Emmanuel, thank you.
¿Cómo se lee employees?
Employees.
All employees must be on time for work.
Let's check the answer. Must be. Thank you, Emmanuel. Yes. All employees must be. Thank you, Emmanuel. Another volunteer for the example number 4, please. Have to, not, must, or mustn't.
We must forget to take the chicken of the freezer.
Ari, can you repeat it, please?
We must forget to take the chicken of the freezer.
Okay, let's check the answer. Thank you, Ari. Mustn't, mustn't, okay? Another volunteer for the next, please. A volunteer for next exercise, please. A volunteer, please. Have, must, or mustn't?
¿Puedo?
Yes, please, Emmanuel.
If you are under 30, you have to get your parents' permission.
Let's check the answer. Yes, thank you, Emmanuel, again. Thank you so much. Have to get. Thanks a lot. Okay, next, please, next exercise.
Your dagger many have to three on the a few different size.
Let's check the answer, Ari. Okay, have to. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, next, please, the doctor. Have to, mustn't, or must for the doctor.
The doctor must get here as soon as he can.
Let's check, Astrid. Must, thank you. Yes, you're right. Next, thank you, Astrid.
Do you have to work next week?
Do you have to work next weekend? Thank you, Ari. Thank you. Next, please. Bicyclist.
Bicyclists must remember to signal when they turn.
Must. Thank you, Astrid, again. Thank you so much. Okay, let's check the last one, please. Angela. Have to, mustn't, must.
Yo, teacher, ¿puedo?
Please, Itlali, thank you.
Angela, you mustn't leave your clothes all over the floor like this.
Exactly, you mustn't. As always, thank you so much for your participation, okay, in this presentation. Okay. I don't know if you have any comment, any suggestion, doubt. No? Don't forget to write your name and your group, please. Those are important information for me. Ok. Nada más recordarles que el 7 se cierra su examen y después no se puede abrir, después no se puede hacer. Por favor, para que lo consideren y también pues la entrega de sus actividades. Como siempre, agradecerle su tiempo, su interés y su dedicación a su curso, ¿sí? Y entonces estamos en contacto. ¿Alguien desea hacer alguna pregunta, algún comentario? ¿No? Por favor,
No,
pongan bien
teacher.
su nombre completo y el grupo al que pertenecen, por favor, y nos estaríamos viendo el próximo sábado. Ok, thank you so much. Bye, bye. See you.
See you, teacher.